How to recognize and handle emotional blackmail. Breaking free from manipulative control and reclaiming your emotional power. Written by Dr. Jonathan Schuma. Introduction. The hidden chains of emotional blackmail. Emotional blackmail is the silent thief of peace, confidence, and freedom. It's the unspoken pressure that makes you say yes when your heart screams no. It's manipulation wrapped in affection, guilt, or fear. An invisible prison built with emotional threats. The truth is, emotional blackmail only works when you've been conditioned to please, fear, or prove. The moment you awaken to this truth, the power shifts back to you. This book will teach you to recognize manipulation instantly, defend your emotional space, and reclaim your right to peace without guilt. Chapter 1. The Anatomy of Emotional Blackmail. At its core, emotional blackmail is control through emotion. The blackmailer says, "If you don't do what I want, I'll make you feel pain." It's a psychological transaction where love, approval, or peace is held hostage. Common emotional blackmail. Patterns. 1. Fear-based threats. "You'll regret it if you leave." 2. Guilt trips. "After all I've done for you?" 3. Silent treatment. Withdrawal of affection until compliance. 4. Flattery and shame cycles. "You're too good to act like this." Reality check. Emotional blackmail isn't about love. It's about control disguised as care. Chapter 2. How emotional blackmailers operate. They understand emotions better than logic. They use your empathy as a weapon and your desire for harmony as a trap. Their tactics rely on reading your emotional weaknesses, pressuring you with fear or guilt, rewarding you temporarily when you comply, punishing you with withdrawal or anger when you resist. Practical example. A partner says, "If you really loved me, you do this for me." This turns love into a tool for obedience, not connection. Chapter 3. The 4 faces of the blackmailer. 1. The punisher uses direct threats. "Do this or I'll leave." 2. The self-punisher uses guilt. "If you don't help, I'll hurt myself." 3. The sufferer plays the victim to make you rescue them. 4. The tantalizer dangles approval or affection as bait. Lesson. Each type feeds on your reaction. When you stop feeding the system, it collapses. Chapter 4. The silent contract. Why we fall for emotional blackmail. We fall into emotional blackmail because of unhealed internal contracts. If I keep people happy, they'll love me. If I say no, I'll lose connection. If I make others angry, I'm a bad person. These beliefs make us emotionally obedient. Freedom begins when you question these silent agreements. Chapter 5. Emotional currencies. What they trade on. Emotional blackmailers trade on guilt, making you responsible for their emotions. Fear, threatening consequences for your boundaries. Obligation, using loyalty or duty against you. Example. A boss implies you'll lose favor if you don't overwork. That's not leadership, that's emotional extortion. Chapter 6. Recognizing the signs. Early warning signs. You feel anxious before saying no. You second-guess your needs. You feel responsible for others' moods. You feel drained after certain conversations. Practical tool. Next time you feel uneasy after a request, ask yourself, am I doing this from love or from fear? If it's fear, you're under emotional pressure. Chapter 7. The emotional toll. How it damages confidence and peace. Emotional blackmail rewires your nervous system for stress. You start doubting your judgment, suppressing your truth, and shrinking your boundaries. Symptoms include overthinking your words, chronic guilt or anxiety, emotional exhaustion. The goal of emotional blackmail is to erode your self-trust, because once that's gone, you're easier to control. No. Chapter 8. The psychology of guilt, fear, and obligation. Blackmailers know guilt works better than threats. They manipulate your empathy by implying you're hurting them by being yourself. What to do? Reframe guilt. Instead of "I'm guilty," tell yourself, "I'm allowed to protect my peace." You are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. Chapter 9. The Power of Emotional Detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop caring. When you emotionally detach, you stop reacting impulsively. You gain clarity. You see manipulation without fear. Practical exercise. When pressured, pause and breathe deeply for 10 seconds before speaking. This 10-second gap disconnects you from emotional control. Chapter 10. How to respond instead of react. The 60-second rule. When someone uses emotional pressure, take 1 minute to 1. Breathe. 2. Recognize the tactic. 3. Choose calm words, not defensive ones. Sample responses. I understand you're upset, but I need time to think. I can't take responsibility for your feelings. That doesn't feel right for me. These phrases end emotional tug-of-war. Chapter 11. Setting unshakable boundaries. Boundaries protect your emotional wallet from being drained. Without them, emotional blackmailers bankrupt your self-worth. What to do? Identify your non-negotiables. Communicate clearly and calmly. Repeat if necessary. Consistency trains respect. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. Chapter 12. Reclaiming your voice and power. Emotional blackmail. Silences your inner voice. Reclaiming it means honoring your truth even when it's uncomfortable. Practice saying, "This is what I feel. This is what I need. This is my choice." Your voice is your liberation tool. Chapter 13. Turning pain into emotional intelligence. Every manipulative experience teaches discernment. You become wiser, calmer, and stronger when you see through emotional games. Ask yourself, what did this teach me about my boundaries? How can I protect my peace next time? Pain becomes a teacher when you stop repeating the same lessons. Chapter 14. Healing from the scars of emotional manipulation. Healing begins with forgiveness, not for them, but for yourself. Forgive yourself for being naive, for overgiving, for staying too long. You did your best with the awareness you had. Now, it's time to move forward with strength, not resentment. Chapter 15. Building immunity to emotional control. Like a vaccine, immunity comes from exposure and learning. You don't fear manipulation once you understand it. Strengthen your emotional immunity by practicing mindfulness, spending time with emotionally healthy people, affirming daily, I choose peace over pressure. I am no longer emotionally available for manipulation. Conclusion. Standing free and whole again, man. Freedom is not the absence of people. It's the presence of self-awareness. When you recognize manipulation and refuse to react from fear or guilt, you reclaim your inner kingdom. No one owns your peace. No one commands your emotions. You are no longer a hostage of emotional pressure. You are the architect of your boundaries and the protector of your joy. Stand tall, speak calmly, live freely. Emotional freedom. Toolkit 1. Awareness. Script. What emotion are they using against me? 2. Boundary reminder. My no doesn't make me unkind, it makes me healthy. 3. Grounding exercise. When anxious, press your feet to the floor, take 3 deep breaths, and repeat, I am in control of how I respond. 4. Reflection. Journal. Prompts. Who often makes me feel guilty for setting boundaries? What pattern of manipulation do I keep tolerating? What would emotional freedom look like for me? 5. Daily affirmations. I am emotionally free. No one can guilt me into submission. I release fear and choose clarity.